All right, it's time to start filling the cooling system and see how many leaks we have. It's only got about 30 hose clamp connections between the main coolant lines and the heater hoses and such as that. So we might have a leak or two by the time we get it filled up. Right now the plan is to fill a gallon jug and mark how many times I pour a gallon into it to figure out roughly how much this cooling system is going to hold. I have a vent tube right here at the top of the block. I have a vent tube up in the front of the car at the top of the radiator. So it should fill fairly easily, fairly quickly. Well, I mean, as fast as water can pour through this funnel right here. One thing I always forget when I'm filling cooling systems, I forget that I actually have one of these. So I've used it a couple times, but it does work pretty good. The nice thing is being able to do that and stop coolant flow instantly. All right, on with filling this thing up. One thing I did add is I added my overflow tank to it. Well, my temporary overflow tank, which is just simply temporarily connected right here. Small piece of clear tubing runs across here, zip tied out of the way so I don't burn a hole through it, and it just runs over here to this bottle. And that will work as my overflow reservoir for right now until I figure out exactly how I want to mount the overflow reservoir. Just a quick look at the schematics of this whole system again, just so you can see how this is supposed to work. What I've done right now is I have an overflow, not overflow, but I have a vent hose temporarily running right off of here and a vent hose running right off of here off the top of the radiator so that coolant will be able to fill it up and air will be able to escape easily. That should work, should fill up pretty quick. All right, let's fill her up, see what happens. All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, we're going to pour in just regular old tap water for right now so that if it has any major leaks, it's easy to drain out and I don't have to make a big mess, catch a whole bunch of coolant, etc., etc. Well, there's a gallon in it. And no water on the floor yet, so let's keep going. Oh, where's my marker? Keep an eye on me because I'll forget to mark this. Yay! First leak. Looks like it's coming out of a return hose. And we got a leak at the front too. All right, the leak at the front is just a plug that I put in a hose that's temporary. The leak we have here is pretty crazy because that's a double clamped hose. It is loose. I haven't tightened those clamps all the way. All right, let's tighten them clamps. Oh, that helps a lot. Well, I can get two kinds of light on this, too much and too little, and because it's clear water, it's kind of hard to see, but it's coming out of right there. Man, I don't understand how I did that. I didn't look at that well very good after I completed it. Should have been easy to notice that that was a little tiny, at least divot that should have been fixed. And of course, it's on the easiest one of these drain plugs to get to. It would be easier to fix one of the back ones because they're easier to get to, and it would be easier to fix if it was over here on this side. But I'm going to try to fix that after I drain a couple gallons of water out of it. And this is why we have drains at the rear too, because the lower hose is the one we're draining up front, and it won't keep trickling forward on me while I'm trying to weld that. All right, I disconnected some clamps and took the hose off so I didn't melt anything. Stuffed some rags up around it, damp rags, to keep from, well, setting anything on fire and burning the paint off everything else. And I got to pull my TIG welder out so I could practice a little bit more. And I do mean practice. I am not good at TIG welding. That's a TIG water cooler that I built. I've got a video of that on my channel. You might want to consider buying one because it's not too easy to build. But it is working real good. Well, the smoke is cleared, both figuratively and literally. And it drained out exactly 1 gallon of water to get to make the repair. So we're starting over, and we'll call this gallon number 2. See how long it takes for water to start running out somewhere. Oh, I gotta tighten that temporary clamp up there because it's leaking still. Not that it really matters if this leaks or anything, but just easier to spot the real leaks if you've got all your temporary clamps not leaking. Whatever. Whatever. All right, that should help. All right, I've got a little bit left of the 3rd gallon here, and there's water sitting right up to here. And as soon as I lower that vent tube down, water will run out of it, so the block is full. That means water is through everything up to here. There's probably some air pockets in the system still. Once it starts circulating, it's going to need a little bit more, but right now, less than 3 gallons. All right, so it's got about 3 gallons of water in it almost exactly now, and I'm going to see if it'll start and see what happens. Maybe it'll circulate coolant, I hope. So it's circulating coolant through the system because what's pushing up out of here, when I rev it a little bit, is not perfectly clear water. It's residue from inside the block and stuff is in with it. So it's moving water around where it's supposed to, I think. Yeah. The vent hose is getting warm right here. That means the block is circulating coolant. Let's check up front. Heater hoses are warm. Main radiator hoses are cool. That means it's not circulating water because the thermostat's doing what it's supposed to. This little hose right here is warm. Warm going into here. Blowing little bubbles. Idling nicely. Coolant temperature gauge seems to have gone up just a little tiny bit. Hopefully I have enough fuel in it to run it for more than a minute. Another one of my temporary plugs is leaking. I don't know what made me think I could put a threaded bolt in there and use it as a plug, but I tried it. It didn't work. That's not a leak, that's a river. But it is looking good underneath the car. I see one little tiny drop that's fresh under there from probably right about where the drain valves are at. What was that? Let's see what we got for a temperature gauge. Yeah, the temperature gauge is moving up just a little bit. I'm leaving the camera running in case it gets exciting here or something. Never know what might happen. I can't put a cap or anything on it yet because of this leak right here to find out if it'll hold pressure. But we'll get to that point. At least now we know it'll run. It circulates coolant. There are no huge holes in it anywhere. Seems to be working so far. I don't know if you can hear that on the camera, on the mic, but it sounds like something's rubbing a little bit somewhere. It sounds kind of major, but maybe idler pulley, something like that, bouncing around. Slinging a little water at me because it's leaking right here. It could be the tensioner. I see the tensioner shaking a little bit, even idling. You're about to witness something here that seems quite minor. As I check the transmission fluid, the engine dies. I think it ran out of fuel, but it's not that simple. The fix turns out to be simple, but troubleshooting it turns out to be a long, drawn-out process. Let's check transmission fluid. Yeah, tranny fluid is very low. And I think it just ran out of gas. Yeah, you got to put more than this much in the bottom of the tank to run it for very long, I guess. Yeah, right. You're wrong. Right. You just don't know how wrong you are, or that it's going to take 2 days to figure out what the problem is. The problem's very simple. Put some transmission fluid in it, fix that little leak over there, and I don't know, see what happens next, I guess. Oh yeah, 3 and 2/3 gallons. Less than I thought it would hold, that's for sure. All problems are very simple. Well, a lot of electrical problems are very simple. It just takes a while to figure out exactly what they are. Next episode we'll be looking at why this thing does not start again after this. And I mean, that was the last time it actually started and ran until I fixed the minor problem. Well, this isn't good. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching.